Welcome back to the City Current Radio Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're honored to bring you our next guest with the American Cancer Society. She's over the state of Tennessee as the executive director, Lindsey Langley. How are you doing, Lindsey?
I'm good. Thank you. Hanging in there.
So this is one of those things where, I'm lucky enough to work with you all, your team. We'll talk about a big statewide initiative, a virtual event coming up, but it is one of those where the pandemic is going on, difficult, challenging for everyone, but fighting cancer never stops. And so this is something that for what you all do is so important now and throughout time. But give us a little bit, when you talk about the state of Tennessee and the American Cancer Society, give us some background for your role, but also to obviously the statewide efforts.
Sure. Yeah. So, Tennessee is unique in the aspect that we have some major research hospitals, clearly St. Jude in Memphis, and as well here in Nashville with Vanderbilt. But we are, as far as research right now that's being conducted, that's funded through American Cancer Society, here in Tennessee alone, we have over $13 million of research being done through St. Jude, about $6 million at St. Jude, Vanderbilt University Medical Center, and then also at UT over in Knoxville. So we conduct a ton of research here in Tennessee, and I talk about that so much, especially right now, because this is the first time in American Cancer Society's history that we're looking at, having to cut back on funding when it comes to research. So when you think about cutting funding for research, that's an entire generation of people that cancer could impact. So, it's a big deal looking down today. Obviously, 84% of, cancer screenings are down right now by 84%. So right now we have a problem with the pandemic when it comes to screenings, but looking down the line, not just now and during the pandemic, there's a huge impact that this time period could cause. So obviously we're certainly in fundraising mode, and really just depending on our people that are passionate about our cause, and who hasn't been impacted by cancer. So, it's pretty big, but across the state alone, since the beginning of ACS, about $77 million worth of research has been done here just in the state of Tennessee. So lots of things going on here in our community through our healthcare partners. We have about 14 healthcare partners that we do work with. Another thing that you're obviously familiar with, being on our board of ambassadors for our gala in Memphis, is our Hope Lodges that are both in Nashville and Memphis as well. So we've definitely hated to close the doors, given the fact that housing cancer patients in a facility where one person comes in with COVID and you've got a big problem. So we had to make that tough decision, but we did open up our doors to our healthcare partners and providers to use during the pandemic. So, we're utilizing the resources that we have to help out our partners. So hopefully we'll be able to open our doors here pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Carry that forward with, when you look at the support service, and as you mentioned, I think it really is important to realize that when you talk about defunding or lowering funding for what you're doing, that could impact a generation. And I think that's a very scary reality of what is being faced on that side of the R&D, which is really advancing protocols and treatments and cures and all of these things, looking for those cures to fight cancer. And it's not just one form of cancer. You cover the full spectrum, which is really important to understand too. But talk about the other services, because you do so much on those, between providing transportation, wigs, you cover a full gamut. So dive in a little bit deeper.
Yeah, so our programming offerings across the state have changed a little bit, but we're very grateful to still be able to provide programming to cancer patients and caregivers. Our Reach to Recovery is still available, and it's over the phone and also via online chat. We're excited about some new technology-based ways that cancer patients, specifically breast cancer patients, can connect with survivors and have that connectivity that everyone needs. You know, one thing that we know during this time is being connected to family and loved ones. And if you're going through cancer, having a support system is so important. So we still do have that reach to recovery, and it's over the phone and online chat. Our community transportation grants, they're still existing across the state, so that's a good thing. Our National Cancer Information Center our information is still online, and also our 1-800 number. I've had several friends that have contacted me, and I just feel so grateful to be able to just give them that information line, and they will help you with really anything that you're dealing with, whether it be support, you know, whether it be you have some questions about your insurance. So that's online and also on the phone as well. So that's still available, as well as our Road to Recovery. And so we're working on that in different markets. And so hopefully we'll be up and running everywhere, but we still have those Road to Recovery, you know, services that will be continuing. We've got them on hold a little bit right now, just due to the timing. And we want to make sure that we're keeping our volunteers safe, as well as cancer patients safe as well. So that's, you know, obviously our in-person Road to Recovery, those are not happening right now. So we've had a few program eliminations, but we still have, you know, quite a few programs that will support and help cancer patients through these times. And again, you know, just this 4-month, 5-month period, thinking about how much screening is down, who knows what we'll be looking at even, you know, a month down the road or 2 months down the road. But we're still, you know, our mission is still the same, and that's to eradicate cancer and lower the mortality rate, especially by 2035. So we're still here, and we're still offering those services, and you know, advocating and providing you know, funding for life-saving research.
What's something that you wish everyone knew about American Cancer Society? And it can be specific to Tennessee or not, but just what's something that you wish everyone knew that they might not know?
You know, I think that when people hear American Cancer Society, they think of research, right? Because we do so much in the research field, and we provide so much funding to life-saving research. I would say here in Tennessee, I think our biggest, best-kept secret is our Hope Lodge. Because, you know, especially in specific to Nashville, I live in Nashville, and to get a hotel room in Nashville, the cost. So if you're coming from a rural community to Sarah Cannon or Vanderbilt or St. Thomas or Tennessee Oncology, wherever you're going, and if you need to stay somewhere and it's going to cost you $200 to $300 a night, and you need treatment for a month, where are you going to stay, and how do you afford that? So our Hope Lodges are really just a beautiful place for people to lay their head. It's a community. People come back, you know, just to say hello. People, you know, it's just a really special place that I think a lot of people, they just don't know about it. So again, that challenge of, and we don't charge them anything, it's free of charge, and they can stay as long as they want. So I love our Hope Lodge, and it's truly a special place that a lot of people don't really know about. So our program offerings are vast. Yes, we do research, but we also have some amazing programming, and our Hope Lodges are just a wonderful place. And another thing is advocacy is so important. You know, people don't think about how much work it takes, you know, to work with our legislators, right? To pass legislation that provides access to care for lower income communities, and lower income communities and rural communities in Tennessee are most impacted by cancer because they can't get to treatment, or they don't have access to health care. So we do a ton of work in advocacy across the state. We have about 105 volunteers that the only thing they do is advocate for cancer patients. And to me, without that support from our government, and, getting legislation passed that provides healthcare to everyone, cancer treatment to anyone and everyone, we can't win this battle without that. And so those volunteers are critical to American Cancer Society and getting rid of cancer.
Yeah, that's awesome answer. I love both of those. Talk about on your end, as we alluded to on the front end, this is the first year that with COVID, obviously it's changed the game for everyone, but it's allowed the whole state to come together on a virtual event, which is going to be the first of its kind. And so you have, like in Memphis, the Imagine Ball, and you have kind of each area, and instead of doing individual events, now it's all together in one really culminating experience. So talk about this culminating statewide experience that everyone can benefit from and enjoy, but also participate in.
When I think about it, I'm that person that bids on everything in an auction. So for me, I'm like, this is great. We have 4 different galas that are coming together. So Nashville, Knoxville, Memphis, and Chattanooga, and we're just going to have one big party, and it's going to be a virtual party. But again, from an auction standpoint, right? If I sit in Knoxville and I'm looking at an experience in Memphis or whatnot, I'm going to be way more excited to get something where I can go out and about. So for me, that was my I was like, oh man, we're going to have so many great auction items. So we just decided that since, we're at a point across the state where, we need funding to continue our programs, to continue research, to keep our Hope Lodges going. And so what better way than to come together as a state, we're the volunteer state, and do this together, pull every, board of ambassadors together, volunteer leaders from across the state, which are the pulse of our organization, because we are volunteer led and staff supported. So, everyone seems to be really excited, and we're in the planning phases now. But the great thing about it is, like we're talking about in Memphis, and in other areas, there'll be things that you can do that are local to the city that you're in. So, we've got some great ideas about partnering with some restaurants where you can go get your dinner and a bottle of wine and come home and watch the gala online and still give back to the society. So we're truly excited about the statewide gala, and more to come on it. But I know our volunteers are excited and staff are excited, and I'm excited about bidding on tons of everybody's looking for experiences, right? So the minute that you can get out and do something, you're like, yes,
absolutely.
So I'm willing to spend a little bit more money on the trips now.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it is really cool to, like you're saying, you can bid on auction items across the state, so you can have these experiences in different places that you normally wouldn't have access to. The other one is you get to learn and kind of see what's going on in each of those communities, and so each community will be spotlighted. And so I just think it's a really neat opportunity for all these different communities to, one, share their story and what they're doing and inspire. And at the same time, like you said, really leverage the assets to help raise money and fund the mission, which is really critical given the time that we're dealing with. And the other thing is, the date has been announced, but it's Thursday, November 12th is the date. And as you alluded to, everything is kind of being structured right now, but we'll talk about in a second the website and just where to go. But Thursday, November 12th is the date. Yes.
And also a really cool thing about it is if you're passionate about research, if you're passionate about the Hope Lodge, typically our galas go to a specific cause, or, I know in Knoxville, they typically are giving funds to research. You can pick. So if you sit in Nashville and want to support research, you can do that. Obviously, we've got a capital campaign going on in Nashville for our Hope Lodge. So we're really grateful to have all of our volunteers on board and excited to be a part of it. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and wrap up and talk about website, social media, phone numbers. Where should we send everybody to?
So if you are on Facebook, you can look up ACS Tennessee, And we keep our social media updated constantly. On Instagram, it's ACS_Tennessee, I believe. And typically anything and everything you are going to find on there on a daily basis. So for more information about the statewide gala, you can go there. We also have our Making Strides Against Breast Cancer that's coming up. And we are going to flood social media in the month of October with pink. For breast cancer awareness. And we have a lot of really fun programming that's coming up throughout really till the end of the year to help us push through.
Yeah, you also have Real Men Wear Pink campaigns.
Yes.
You have all sorts of great stuff and I think all of that, they're great opportunities for everyone to play a role, to add their personality, but ultimately to give back and to use their sphere of influence, their resources, their talents to be able to help fight cancer. And obviously that's the goal. So the other website is cancer.org, and that's an easy place, obviously, to access all the resources and information as well.
Yes, for sure.
Well, Lindsey, greatly appreciate all you and your team do. We're looking forward to the virtual event on Thursday, November 12th, and we definitely want to see everyone there virtually. But thank you for all you do, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And thank you for all that you do and being a volunteer and a fantastic chair for our Memphis Gala. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Honored to do it.